talking about viscosity. It is something like, in the case of solids, we talk about friction. Something similar to that, not exactly friction and all that, but we say that on a viscous flow or a non-viscous flow. So basically what happens is, when you take, let us say, some liquid is going through a pipe. So it is going in layers, right? These dots represent the movement of the particles, that water particles, molecules, whatever. So they are going like this. Imagine them as set of layers. This is the top layer, this is little below that, this is below that. You have to imagine them like multiple layers. Okay, what happens is, this layer, there is a intermolecular, cohesive forces and all that we have studied. So there is some sort of intermolecular forces which will come into play over here. Okay. So what happens is, when this particle is going, now this layer, the gap is not this much, okay? The gap is very less, okay? So when this particle is going, so it is interacting with the molecules in the next other layer. You need to see, these are one particle going like this in this path. This is in some layer. So below that there is a layer, above that there is a layer. So this fellow is going like this, and intermolecular cohesive forces will be there when the distance is very small. See, cohesive forces, adhesive forces, they act on a distance which are very small. Not from Islamabad to Hyderabad, not like that. Very small distance, they will be very predominant. Okay. So now here the distance is very less. So there will be some molecular interaction and all that. No? So what happens is, they start interacting with the next layer, either the layer above or the layer below. Then what will happen? They are attracted to each other, there will be random heating. In kinetic theory of gases, we have studied that the gas molecules are never at rest in even at room temperature. They are constantly moving now. So there is a random movement. So here also there is a random movement. So if there is a random movement, what will happen? They will lose kinetic energy. They will lose, either they will gain or lose. If collisions are getting more and more, what will happen? It will drop, velocity will drop. Suppose only one person is there in the room and you ask him to run here and there. He will randomly run. He will run at a more faster rate. Now I will introduce 100 people in the same room and ask everyone to run randomly. What will happen? Will the speed of the man affected or not? It will be affected, no? So similarly, there is not one particle here, there are millions of particles here. So when this fellow is going like this, obviously there is a intermolecular role play is there. Okay? Now, because of this some random heating now, what happens is, there is the molecular speed at all the layers will not be same. What did I say? Suppose this is the ground level, okay, and this is the floor. This is the flow which is happening. Okay, this is the flow which is happening. So this flow is happening at a particular level. This flow is happening at a particular level. The speed here will be different. The speed here will be different. Why? Because this is interacting with this. On top of this is nothing. This is interacting with this. This fellow is interacting with the above and the below. This layer is interacting with, each layer is interacting with the layers above and the layers below. Okay? Clear? Each layer, the molecules which are traveling, they are interacting with the molecules which are above or below. Above here doesn't mean that only one layer above. It can be two layer above, it can be three layer above also. Remember that these layers are very, very thin. Okay? So when they are interacting, what is happening? Actually, there is an obstruction. There is an obstruction or not? The velocity is affected, the motion is affected, there is some sort of friction. When you put a block on the table, there is a molecular interaction between the particles of the block and the table. If there is no interaction, the block will slide freely, which you call frictionless surface. If there is interaction, the motion will be affected. Friction force is acting against. Friction force is acting against or with the motion? The block, there is a block like this. you are applying a force like this, the friction will develop in this direction or in this direction? In this direction, but the friction force is resisting it. Why this friction force has come into effect? Because there is a adhesive forces between the molecules here and the molecules there. There is interlocking happening there. I have shown you that. So similarly, in the case of water also is happening like that. Water or any liquid. So there is some amount of resistance to the motion. Clear? This is what is viscosity. This is the concept behind viscosity. Different liquids, how do we talk in terms of viscosity? They have a coefficient of viscosity. They have a coefficient of viscosity which is denoted by neta. Greek symbol neta. Okay? Okay? We will see that what it is. So suppose I give you a flow. Two examples. One flow is like this. Another flow is like this. Okay? This is case 1, this is case 2. Here all the layers are going at almost at same speed. Can I say that? See, these are all imaginary lines, okay? They do not exist on ground. We, for the sake of our understanding, we are writing like this. Okay? So all the layers are traveling almost the same speed. This is the non-viscous flow. This is non-viscous flow. In simple language, no friction among the adjacent layers. Okay? Here what is happening? The top layer is at some speed, little below, some other speed, little below, even lesser than that. Okay? If I say this layer speed is V, this will be V plus dV and this will be V minus dV. Can I write it like that? Now remember, this dV is very small. If this fellow is going at a speed of 2 meters per second, maybe this fellow is going at 2.1 meter per second and this fellow is going at 1.9 meter per second. If this is 2 meter per second, example, this is say 2.1 meter per second. This is 1.9 meter per second. Clear? So what is the 2.1? dV, V plus dV only, no? V plus dV, V minus dV. So multiple layers are at different velocities. So this is an example of viscous flow. How many understood what I am trying to say? In viscous flow, there is a resistance to flow. Okay? Some type of flow are viscous flow, some type of flow are non-viscous flow. It depends upon the fluid also, no? It depends upon the fluid. Like in your solid, all surfaces do not have same coefficient of friction. A glycerin will have some value, wood will have some value. Different values are there, no? So depending upon this, in fluid motion also, some we categorize into non-viscous flow and some we categorize into viscous flow. Okay? Write on this. Look at this example. The velocity is what? With respect to distance, there is a change in the velocity. Am I right? Here, if I, in the vertical direction, I call it as x coordinate system I take. At different x, there are different speeds, right? So, there is a term dv by dx, we call it. But this is called velocity gradient. You need to understand this term. Velocity gradient it is called. Okay? If I take a cross section, you have taken a big flow of water, you know? Suppose some river is there. The river is flowing like this. It's like this. Alright? So I have taken a cross section like this. Cross section is vertical cutting. And I am observing this. What I observe? I find this. Here the speed is more, here the speed is less. Here hit the bottom of the river or the tank or whatever. Okay? Now here dv by dx means change of velocity with respect to the change in the dimensions. It's called velocity gradient. Now here when we talk about velocity gradient, we are measuring in the top direction. The dimension is in the top direction. So here when I am writing this, there must be a reference line. There must be a reference line. Usually this is the stationary layer which is not moving. There is some layer. See, whenever we take a coordinate, we have to take a coordinate something which is fixed. If I am writing 0, 0, that is fixed, okay? You are not changing that. Suppose if I ask you where are you sitting, I tell that with respect to the complex, wherever is the bus stand here, with respect to that, you are at a distance of let us say 1 kilometer, isn't it? So that bus stop you are taking as reference point. That bus stop is not going, no? Bus stop is a reference point. So similarly, when I am talking about x here, which point I have to take as a reference? The bottom of the tank or the bottom of the river or whatever. Which is stationary, which is not moving. Clear? Which is not moving. So here, this is your stationary layer. And you have to measure dimension which direction? X direction, which is the top direction here, vertical direction here. So this velocity gradient is with respect to the dimension. Which direction? If you take a vertical cut, it is in the top direction. You can see that at different x values you have different speeds. dv represents change, dx represents change in the dimension. Suppose if I take these two layers, this layer is at some x2, this layer is at some x1. So x2 minus x1. So I can get the profile. I can know how the velocity is changing, isn't it? If I plot this on a graph sheet, I can know how the velocity is changing across the depth. How the velocity is changing across the depth. So what is the term we use? We use velocity gradient. Clear now? Okay. What will be the unit? Meter per second divided by meter. Meter per second divided by meter. Viscous force. Okay? Like a frictional force, in fluids we talk in terms of viscous force. Alright? So viscous force, now here Newton, he gave a law. This viscous force, you can denote by F suffix V, just for identification purpose. Viscous force is basically proportional to area you are considering and the velocity gradient. You increase the velocity gradient, he says that viscous force increases. You increase the area you are considering, viscous force increases. What is this area? I have drawn this flow line. No? This is some inlet, this is some outlet, isn't it? Water is entering here, water is coming out here. Alright. So when I am doing this, what happens is this vertical cross section, if I take some area of cross section, within some area it is passing, no? That area is this area. Alright? So here Fv will be equal to some constant multiplied by this. That is your coefficient of viscosity. Write on this. So meter, if I talk about unit, what is the answer you got? And the unit is Newton second per meter square. Did you get this? The unit for meter. Everyone got it? कितने को आया? हाथ खड़ा करो. उसको अकेले को आया. तेरा नाम क्या है? जगताप. बाकी का नहीं है. चलो. Meter is equal to force into force divided by area. Dx by dv. Can I write it like this? So force is Newton, area is meter square. Okay, dx is in terms of meter only, no? So meter by meter per second. dv is meter per second. So here meter gone, and this is meter per second. It will go to the top. Numerator you will get Newton second per meter square. What is this Newton per meter square? Is it not Pascal? So it is Pascal second. Pascal is a unit for pressure. Okay, what is Pascal? Newton per meter square. There is another unit called poise. Poise. Okay, there is another unit called poise. Now this is a CGS unit. Okay, and this is a SI unit, let us say. So there is a relationship is there. Many times questions are given in poise. So you should convert into this, or it is given in Pascal second, you should convert into this. The relationship is 1 Pascal second is equal to 10 poise. This is very important, you remember this. 1 Pascal second is equal to 10 poise. What is poise? Poise is a CGS unit. Like you have gram, same like that. Okay. 1 Pascal second is equal to 10 poise, or 1 poise is equal to 10 power minus 1 Pascal second. Okay. Suppose I give you an example like this. Do you think this is viscous or non-viscous? Is it a viscous or non-viscous? It is a viscous, okay? The gradient shall not, need not be like that only, you know. ऊपर से नीचे की तरफ घट रहा है ऐसा ही जरूरी नहीं है. This is a case of viscous only. You have to see the length of the line. Okay? If all the lengths are same, it is a non-viscous case. Here it is varying, so it is a viscous case. What are these lines? Flow lines. Okay. All right. Let's move on to this viscosity, coefficient of viscosity, important point. This coefficient of viscosity for different liquid it will be different, first of all. Second thing is, it is dependent upon temperature. This is a very important point. Okay? It is dependent upon temperature. You vary the temperature, the coefficient of viscosity. You are able to follow? Yeah. Somesh, na your name? At different temperatures, you will have different viscosity values. Okay. So temperature also. That's why you can see. Go to page number. The temperature also is mentioned usually. Can you tell me the page number? 40. You can have a look on the values. Air, water, machine oil, different values are given over there, and they have mentioned the temperature also. Now, when temperature is changing, viscosity coefficient is changing. Why? Like since we have already completed this kinetic theory of gases, you know that there is something called mean speed, most probable speed. All this we have gone through, no? So when you are altering the temperature, basically the kinetic energy is getting affected, isn't it? So when the kinetic energy is increasing, decreasing. When you are increasing the temperature, the kinetic energy is increasing. When the kinetic energy is increasing, what is happening actually? When the kinetic energy is increasing, more collisions or less collisions? More collisions will happen. So more obstruction is coming, no? So it will have an indirect effect on the viscosity also. Clear now? Understood what I said? So when you are altering the temperature, basically all are molecules, na? See, whether you take liquid or whether you take a gas, these are basically molecules, okay? So you are altering the state. How do you alter the state of that fluid? By heating it. So different temperatures will give us to different random speeds. So more random speed is increasing means it is affecting the flow. Okay? More collisions are happening means your viscosity will be dropping. Okay? If you see here, it says that gases, the coefficient of viscosity is increasing with the increasing temperature. Basically, when you are increasing the temperature, you are changing. You have to understand that you are changing the kinetic energy of the molecules. Okay, the kinetic energy actually is increasing actually. So viscosity is not constant at all temperatures. That is the main point actually. Viscosity is not constant at all temperatures. Different temperatures will have different values. So usually we take the standard values like water. We are saying 20 degrees. Like if you take water, we are taking at 20 degrees. 20 degrees is the normal temperature. At which we keep telling the values. So this is dependent upon the temperature. That's the main point. Okay. Now, suppose I take a spherical ball and I drop into, let us say, a tank. We will talk about this Stokes law. Now, before I get into the Stokes law, you should know how to calculate the buoyancy upthrust forces are there. So, you know that Archimedes principle? Can anyone tell me? What is Archimedes principle? Because that is required here. That's why I'm doing this. Not a full statement. What is Archimedes principle tells us how to calculate the upthrust force. If you have ever done any swimming or something, if you jump into the pool, how do you feel? You feel little lighter or not? किसी ने छलांग लगाया स्विमिंग पूल के अंदर, थोड़ा सा हमें लाइट फील होता है. क्यों होता है? This is your swimming pool, okay? You jump into the obviously with some water as well. नहीं तो कहीं और पहुंच जाएंगे. यहाँ पे वाटर है मान लो. जब तुम नीचे जाते रहते हो तो तुम्हें ऐसा लगता है कि तुम्हें ऊपर कोई धकेल रहा है. कभी ऐसा कुछ किया रहेगा तो पता रहेगा, ठीक है? तो यहाँ पे क्या रहता है, अगर ये आदमी है अपना, तो इसके ऊपर बायरेंसी फोर्स लग रहा है ना? दैट इज द अपथ्रस्ट फोर्स. देयर इज अ नेम फॉर दैट, बायरेंसी फोर्स और अपथ्रस्ट फोर्स. UPTRUST. ओके, ये अपथ्रस्ट फोर्स कैसे निकालेंगे? तो दिस अपथ्रस्ट फोर्स इज गिवन बाय आर्किमिडीज प्रिंसिपल. आर्किमिडीज प्रिंसिपल ये बोलता है कि अगर तुम वाटर में या किसी फ्लूइड में किसी ब्लॉक को फेंक दी, किसी ब्लॉक को डाले, तो दिस अपथ्रस्ट फोर्स इज गिवन बाय V rho G. ध्यान से सुनो, यहाँ पे ये रो जो है ये लिक्विड का है, ये वॉल्यूम जो है ये सॉलिड का है जिसको तुमने उसमें डाला. अभी ध्यान से सुनो, when you put some block into the water, okay, now this can be totally submerged or partially submerged. Submerged मतलब पानी के अंदर गया, partially मतलब थोड़ा ऊपर है थोड़ा नीचे है, totally मतलब पूरा नीचे गया. समझ में आया? टर्म समझ में आ गया? किसी ब्लॉक को मैंने डाला, अगर तुम एक वुडन पीस को डालोगे वो थोड़ा पानी के अंदर होगा, थोड़ा पानी के ऊपर होगा, वो फ्लोट करेगा ना. तुमने किसी और चीज को डाल दिया वो पूरा पानी में जाएगा, ठीक है? अभी तुमने किसी ब्लॉक को पानी में डाला, तो इसने किया क्या? पहले यहाँ पर वाटर था, इतने से वॉल्यूम में वाटर था, जैसे तुमने उसको फेंका तो ये वाटर गया बाहर. बाहर मतलब टैंक के बाहर नहीं, और टैंक के अंदर ही था, लेकिन वहां उस उतना वॉल्यूम को किसने फिल किया? ऑब्जेक्ट ने फिल किया. ध्यान से, जब तुमने इसके अंदर डाला तो जितना वॉल्यूम वहां पे वाटर था उतना वॉल्यूम गायब हो गया. वो किससे रिप्लेस हो गया? वो सॉलिड से रिप्लेस हो गया. तो अपथ्रस्ट फोर्स इक्विवेलेंट मास निकालना है, इक्विवेलेंट वेट निकालना, वेट ऑफ वॉल्यूम, वेट ऑफ वाटर डिस्प्लेस्ड. Upthrust force or buoyancy force is nothing but weight of water displaced. तो कितना weight of water displace हुआ? इतना volume displace हुआ. किससे? Solid से. ठीक है? तो Fu is equal to this volume of the solid which is displaced, which has displaced the water, multiplied density of the liquid, whichever liquid you have taken, multiplied by G. Basically ये mg है और कुछ नहीं है. बायोएनर्जी फोर्स बेसिकली mg, ओके. लेकिन ये m कैसे कैलकुलेट करेंगे? वॉल्यूम मल्टीप्लाई बाय डेंसिटी. किसका वॉल्यूम डालेंगे? पानी का वॉल्यूम नहीं डालेंगे, पानी का वॉल्यूम तो पूरा है, वो वाला पानी का वॉल्यूम डालेंगे जिसको ऑब्जेक्ट ने रिप्लेस किया, ठीक है? तो दैट वॉल्यूम इज दिस वॉल्यूम. दिस इज द वॉल्यूम ऑफ द सॉलिड व्हिच डिस्प्लेस द वाटर. So this is the formula to calculate the upthrust force. ठीक है? क्लियर? किसी को कोई डाउट है? अगर मान लो कि यहाँ पे मैंने ऐसा ब्लॉक डाला, ये आधा गया पानी में आधा ऊपर है, आधा गया पानी में आधा ऊपर है, तो मुझे वॉल्यूम कितना लेना पड़ेगा? ये कितना वॉल्यूम लेना पड़ेगा? मैं पूरा वॉल्यूम नहीं लूंगा क्योंकि आधा है पानी के अंदर. ठीक है? टाइम इज ओवर. Now time. Still 5 minutes is there. क्लियर ना? तो अगर ये कोई वुडन ब्लॉक है, मान लो इसका टोटल हाइट है h, आधा पानी के अंदर गया, अगर इसके ऊपर मुझे अपथ्रस्ट फोर्स निकालना है तो मुझे कितना वॉल्यूम डालना होगा? मुझे बस जो पानी के अंदर है मुझे बस वो वॉल्यूम लेना है, जो पानी के ऊपर है वो मुझे कंसीडर नहीं करना है. क्लियर? सो यू हैव टू बी वेरी केयरफुल. This volume is the volume of the solid. You are displacing the liquid. ठीक है, दिस इज हाउ यू कैलकुलेट अपथ्रस्ट फोर्स यूजिंग आर्किमिडीज प्रिंसिपल। मैं वो स्टेटमेंट में वो सब में नहीं जा रहा क्योंकि हमें न्यूमेरिकल आएंगे इसके ऊपर, हमें पता होना चाहिए कि हमको कैसे कैलकुलेट करना है। ठीक है, सो दिस इज द कॉन्सेप्ट बिहाइंड अपथ्रस्ट फोर्स। तो स्टोक्स लॉ में क्या है लिखा, इसको जल्दी से लिखो इसको।